Okay, we are going to make some leaves now and make all that stem work worthwhile. Before we start, I just want to show you that at the end of the last round we were asked to put stitch markers into each side of the flower stem, counting up 6 stitches from the base. So they are in there. They will come into play later on in this round. So that's where they are. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just bring you around this first half of the large flower, because then it's kind of mirrored. The work is mirrored on this side, and then I will take you around the smaller flower and across the stem. All right, so we've made lots. If this isn't your first motif, you'll have made lots and lots of leaves, so hopefully not too much of a problem. Again, you've got a very nicely annotated image in your pattern, so you can see quite clearly where you're starting and where you're going. So we're starting at the very first leaf stem that we made, which is this one here. All right, so I'm going to be turning this, and I'm going to join the yarn into the chain space before that first stem. Okay, and I will pull up a loop. Doesn't count, as you know, as a stitch, and I will make 1 double crochet into that same space. Okay, we've got a double crochet at the base of this flower, which I'm going to, or sorry, at the base of this stem here, which I'm going to skip. I'm not doing anything with that, and I'm also going to skip the next stitch on that stem, which is this one here. We've got quite a long stem here, so we've got quite a lot of stitches, and so I'm going to start in this next stitch here. Now we are working for this first side, we are working into the leftover chains of the chains that we made and filled in with double crochet. So it's those little dashes along the bottom. Again, you've probably made leaves, so you're quite familiar with that. So our leaf pattern for this long one is as follows. It's 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, and again must remind you these are UK terminology, so if you are working US terminology you're going to have to do a little bit of mental gymnastics just to convert those stitches. 1 half, 1 treble, okay, then 2 treble, just being careful not to split the yarn on this. When I'm working those little dashes, it's a little bit easier to do that on those than it is on your full stitches. 2 treble, 1 treble, 1 half, and we should have 1 stitch left before we get to the top. We'll put a double in there. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. And we're now at the top, and we're going to do our sort of traditional 3 double to go around the top there. 1, 2 and 3, and then we're just mirroring that coming down the other side, so just turning that, and 1 double into our first stitch. Might be a little bit tight because we've pulled that end quite significantly. 1 half, 1 treble, 2 treble. Sirens are mad today, aren't they? I'm so sorry. 2 treble, 1 treble, 1 half, 1 double. Okay, so you can see we've got 2 stitches left. We're going to skip those, and we're going to skip the chain in here, and we're going to also skip the next stitch. So the first stitch on our next stem is this one here. We're going to skip that, and we're going to go straight in and repeat that first side of that pattern. So 1 double, 1 half, 1 treble, This one is slightly different to a regular kind of leaf. 2 treble, 1 treble, there we go, 1/2, 1 double, oh no, split that yarn, 1 double, and we're all the way at the top where we're going to do our 3 double crochet to get us around the top. Here we go, 1, 2 and 3, and now it's a little bit different because we're going to make just 7 double crochet. We're just going to come down this side and just put 7 double crochet in here, keeping that flat. I'll show you that on the finished sample in a minute. 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, where's my sample? So if you look at the sample here, you will see what we've just done is that flat side here. We need that flat so that we've got space for our bud leaf stem. Okay, so there's no crowding there. It's very clever, isn't it? So that's where we've just finished. All right. Okay, we've got 1 stitch left. You can see that, but we're not doing anything with that. So we're going to make 1 chain. We're going to skip that stitch, skip this chain here, and skip 3 stitches on our flower bud stem. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and we're just going to put slip stitches in the 4 stitches that are left. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. It's a little bit different, isn't it, this one? And that's 4. So we're just sort of coming up the side of that there. We're going to make 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 treble into that skipped chain at the top. This is where we normally put our 3 double crochet. Remember, it's sort of that upright little skipped chain there. I've managed to pull this really tight, helpfully. Just get in there once. There we go. So I'm going to put 3 treble in there. 1, 2 and 3. That's kind of going to make the base, as you can see. That's going to make the base where we're going to put our flower buds. Beautiful. Okay, 2 chain to come down the other side, and then slip stitch into the next 6 stitches. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and that brings us nicely down to almost to the end. We've got 1 more stitch there, but we're not going to worry about that. So that's our flower stem, flower bud stem. Isn't that lovely? It's just going so great. Anyway, so we're going to skip the next stitch, the next chain space, and the double crochet at the base of the next leaf stem, which is there. Can you see that right there? And we are going to go straight into making our little our littlest leaves at the top here. So it's 1 treble into the next 2 stitches. Now you need to be aware that these 2 little leaves at the top of your piece here, they're asymmetrical. So on one side is different to the other side. That is intentional, and I'll tell you about that when we get to the bit that's sort of slightly different. So 1 treble into the next 2 stitches, and 1/2, and 1 double. Okay, and we're at the top now. So it's our regular 3 double crochet to bring us around the top there. I really do pull things very tight. Do not be like me. Give yourself a break. So 3 double around the top. 1, 2 and 3. Now when we come down this other side, this is where we have a slight difference, and it's a very slight difference, but it's intentional. Okay, so we're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 half, 1 treble, and then in this next stitch we're going to actually put 2 treble in there, and that is intentional. All right, so I'm going to stop there because what we have done, sorry, before I do that, I'm going to just tell you, when you come up the other side on this other small one, you're going to start with the 2 treble and come down to 1 treble in 2. You'll see, but it's just pay attention to the pattern. It might look like there's an error, but there isn't. It's intentional. So I'm going to stop there, because if you look, what we've done is we've done 1 full side or 1 full half of the large flower, and what you're going to do is you're going to basically mirror that coming round the other side. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pick you up down here when we're about to go around this small flower, because you don't really need to see that all repeated in the other direction. All right, so I will do that and see you at the end.